Talk about the progress through four days. Are you happy with it?
Yeah, I think in some elements you're happy with it. I think, like everything, nothing happens immediate or overnight, right? It's going to take a little bit of time. I think there's just, this day off is going to be really good. Every day, the amount that we installed, both offensively and defensively, and special teams, that was practice 4, right? The amount that went in those 4 days is extreme. Now we're going to put a little hold on it, get into the day off, and then really nothing coming out of that break, so we can make sure we're mastering this. And I think everything will really gel together and look really good after that.
Is there install every day? How much do you install every day? Is it quite a bit on their plate?
Yeah, because we also are getting into situational football here. Today we had a bunch of third downs, we had fourth downs, we had all of that. We had 2nd and 10, and then play it. So there was like all those different scenarios that will show up with third down, fourth down, all ended up in here. You saw us trying to go on 2 a couple times and things that come with that, and it's just not, it all just takes a minute here. So we're installing a lot, we're putting in a lot, and we're trying to accomplish a lot. But with that, like I said to the team, one side of the ball maybe was a little bit ahead today. What do you do with that success? Do you relax a little bit? And then what do you do when you didn't succeed as much? Do you kind of fail a little bit and falter, or do you really come back out? Because the leading cause of success is well-managed failure, right? And the leading cause of failure is mismanaged success. And they understand that lesson, and I think they'll be ready to roll.
Can you specifically talk about any guys that have stood out for you on each side of the football yet?
No, I don't want to do that just yet, but there's a lot. There's a lot, actually. I mean, on offense, there's a whole bunch of new faces that we hadn't seen before. On defense, there's a whole bunch of new faces that we hadn't seen before. And then there's some young guys that, you just thought, hey, he's a young guy. You didn't realize just how hungry and how you knew he was capable, but you didn't know how long you're just going to have to incubate him, and then get it before he was ready to go. And there's a couple guys that can go now, so it's exciting.
With so many veterans that you brought in, do you feel like this is kind of their last go-around, that there's something extra, that not that they didn't want to anyway, but do you feel like there's a little something extra, maybe them being there in their last year?
Yeah, the end is imminent, right? So I think when that happens, you end up in a situation where you value it differently. You love it differently. You think about any senior in high school, any senior in college. You talk to a freshman, hey, this 4 years is going to go by fast, and they're like, it's not going to go by fast. You talk to them in the senior year, and they're like, man, that went fast. So when you get to that final year, yeah, there's a whole different deal in there that's happening, and those guys are cherishing every rep. They're excited about every rep, and really a byproduct of having a bunch of guys coming in here with 1 year left is that they elevate everything because they don't want to waste a day, and that's pretty cool to watch.
We get to see some of this out here and kind of talk to you about that, but how about the retention with the meetings and all the walkthroughs that you do outside of these 2 hours? Has that been really good? Have they retained a lot of that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole building blocks of it, right? You got to crawl before you can walk, before you can run, and that's exactly what those things represent. So when you end up with our install meeting into a walkthrough, then into practice, then review it, and then redo it all again. That's it, ultimately where you end up.
You feel like the defense is still a little bit ahead of the offense?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's just always going to be the case for those first 4. I think when you get through today, you go back and watch it, we don't install anything else. We polish all of it up and get it really clean. I think you'll see a very different product on Monday.
What's a day off mean for these guys right now after 4 days in a row?
They got to lift, they got to run, they have to meet. No, I'm kidding. It's a true day off. Some will have optional meetings if they'd like to, but that's really it. There's not really anything else. They have to still get in there and get to breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's all mandatory. Bed check's still mandatory. They can't leave campus. All that stuff is still mandatory. So the camp rules are still in place, but it's a time for them to get off their feet, relax, hang out, study the playbook, take time to just hang out with each other. Go in the downstairs and play pool and hang out together, or go play video games and do all that stuff. That's really what that day off means.
On the offensive end, the running back position, you got a lot of experience, a lot of talent on that side. How important is that for you, and kind of what's the progression been with that group so far?
I mean, that's the one that stands out to me quite a bit, right? I don't know if you guys see it the same way, but all of a sudden it doesn't look like there's much there, and someone's downfield, 5-10 yards before next contact. So those are the guys that are starting to create really well. Ball security is is something we're talking about all the time, and they've been so disciplined and consistent with it. That's a big part of it. They can block, they catch the ball in the backfield, they really can do it all.
I also want to kind of switch sides to the other side of the ball. Chauncey Logan, I know he's a returner. Tell me a little bit about kind of the importance of him staying back another year on the field and also with his leadership as well.
Yeah, so I think that for Chauncey, as you watch him out there, we pulled back his reps a little bit today, but we do that in each position group with certain guys when they hit a certain player load. But he's done a great job, right? He's got to be a leader. He's the one guy really returning that played meaningful snaps on defense, so he's got to keep holding up his end of the bargain. But there's not one spot out there right now that if you tell me who is starting the first game that I'm giving you a real answer, because I don't know that real answer just yet. There's a lot of time left, a lot of things can happen, and there's competition that we want to be happening every single day.
I know competition position, everyone's talking about the quarterback spot. Just tell me how the progression's been going with them so far, and anything that's been kind of standing out to you, or maybe a little ahead of schedule?
Yeah, no, I think we're right where we expect to be on this side of the ball. I think we're right where we expect to be. I think that we're just trying all these different combinations of receivers to tight ends to O-line. Like, that's the mix on offense that we want to do. If COVID really taught us anything, it's, you might lose a guy here, you might lose a guy there. Someone may just be ready to go on Friday, but then you find out they can't play on Saturday. So those are the moments that we're always preparing for. We don't want to say, here's just our 11 and call it a day. That's not it.
Brought in a lot of DBs in this last transfer window. What kind of stage do you think they're in this spring?
Yeah, as far as
like install and learning the scheme.
Yeah, I think they're really good. I'm shocked at how much they retain and how much they could execute for not being here in the spring, and the winter into the spring. It's really remarkable, and I think they're doing an unbelievable job. They're professionals. They are guys that know their role. They are guys that want to step up. They are guys that are hungry to make an impact here, so they're not wasting a moment.
I want to ask you about Ryan Hansen. Maybe even out of special teams, what does he kind of bring to the locker room?
Yeah, so Ryan, what is he, fifth year?
Yeah.
So, just the stuff that this kid can do with the football in his hand is absolutely amazing. But I think what he does in the locker room, too, is that, especially for the specialists, he's this calming voice. There's young guys out there, guys that haven't played here before, and he can give them a lot of insight and a lot of help. And I think when there's a guy that's recognized nationally that much as he is, and you watch his work ethic, and then you watch him lift, and then you watch him run, and then you watch him lead, those are the things that you hope lead on to everybody else, and I know that they do.
What does his skill set bring to you on fourth downs? What can it change for you?
The field position. Yeah, you can change a whole field position, right? And who knows? Even some of those that he puts up there pretty high, can we get down there, get some pressure on the returner? There's a lot in there like that changing the field. The ball and field position are the program, right? And ultimately, what he can do with that, changing that field position is impressive.
Talk a little bit about the defensive line at Sunbelt Media Day. You say there's a couple of names that stood out to you that the world didn't quite know yet. Have you been pleased with their progress, and what has the JMU D-line got in store for us this year?
Yeah, I think it's been very impressive. I don't know if you've watched it out there, but that's half of the deal here on defense. What has them ahead is they're disruptive as can be, right? They are doing an unbelievable. They just don't stop. Their motor is phenomenal. They're powerful. They got pass rush moves. They're powerful on the blocks. They're just never ever stopping. They don't relent, and that's the thing that I think stands out. What normally would be someone that's blocked, they just refuse to be blocked, and it's fun to watch.
Talk a lot about how there's hunger and opportunity at different positions, especially for the returners here, considering you had 96+% of your production leave. What does it say that these guys not only wanted to stay, but have also now had a hunger to provide greatness in an era without restrictions, without asterisks, in a fully transitioned FBS program?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty deep question, but I think for them, they understood, some of them came here as FCS players, right? And then all of a sudden this whole program transitions. They still want to prove it that they can be here. The guys that are not here anymore, they moved on, and then these next guys coming up are like, I want to prove it at this level. I belong here. And there's a lot of names from, that are on this team, that remained on this team, that are damn proud of this place and are really, really excited to leave their mark on this program. And I think everybody else that came in here with this program feels the same way, right? This is a very proud program with a ton of tradition and a ton of support, and they understand what it means to be part of this program. They want to be part of this, and they want to add their mark on this program, not just go down as part of the team, but be the team. And that's what I love watching these guys compete for every single day.
I think the scrimmage is a week away, but is it getting to the point where the guys are getting a little bit restless and might want a little bit more contact, you think?
Yeah, you saw it today. Like, there's definitely, we put them out there for a ton of reps, so they got a lot of reps on that field. So, you see a little chippiness, you see some excitement, but they're doing it with like a neat amount of respect, right? It's more about celebrating with your teammate than it is trying to knock someone else down, by celebrating against them. It's pretty fun to watch. The strength of our team is going to come from, the guys behind you, not who you're playing against, right? You don't hate the guys you're playing against. You love the guys you're playing with, and that's ultimately what drives you every single Saturday night, whenever we're playing those games. And I think that's, what this team's all built on.
We got one more question.
Jacob Dobbs here, JMU Football Media. Approximately how much hair gel do you use every morning, or is that your natural hair,
That's
Coach?
natural. That's just natural. Yeah, I don't have to do anything. I wake up, feel great, get out of bed every day, same day. Wake up, feel great, just go to work, and here I am.
Why did you not have it? I think yesterday you MA'd in the early period of practice. We had a stretch in there when we weren't supposed to have a stretch. But why'd you MA during practice yesterday?
Amateur hour over here, right? Absolutely amateur hour. He's no clue what he's talking about, as usual. To motivate that guy every day, try to get that guy going every day. It's impossible. I have to call him in the mornings. He misses his alarm, hits snooze 5 or 6 times. Just no motivation at all. So we're working on it. Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. It's year 6 together. We're trying to get him motivated a little bit. I wish a lot for him after football, right? And this is not something that he's capable of just yet. We're still holding his hand, but he'll get there.